I was on top of the world. Valedictorian of my law school class, and Novatech, the tech giant, wanted me. There, I found a playground of beautiful women, and at the center of it all was Damien, the impossibly young CEO. He was magnetic, intelligent, and dangerously attractive. I fell hard and fast. But the other women in the office were like sharks circling prey. Their jealousy turned into a full-blown war. I became a pawn in a dangerous game. Accusations flew, and before I knew it, I was behind bars, accused of treason. Did I fall for a charming predator, or am I the victim of a carefully orchestrated plot? I had always pictured tech startups as the domain of men, brilliant, socially awkward men hunched over keyboards, their lives consumed by ones and zeros. But as I stepped into the lobby of Novatech, my carefully constructed image shattered into a million pieces. It was a world of sleek lines, glass walls, and an energy that was both electric and intoxicating. The reception area was more like a high-end boutique than an office, and the people milling about were a far cry from the stereotypical tech nerds. They were young, stylish, and exuded a confidence that was both alluring and intimidating. Then I met him, Jaden, the CEO, 28 and already a billionaire. He was everything the tech world wasn't supposed to be. Laid back, charismatic, and with an aura of power that was both magnetic and intimidating. He offered me the in-house counsel position without so much as a second interview. It was as if he'd been waiting for me. My office was a stone's throw away from his, and our interactions became a daily ritual. He'd drop by, lean against my door, and talk about everything from the latest legal intricacies to his weekend plans. His touch was always accidental, yet it sent a shiver down my spine. There was an undeniable chemistry between us, a spark that ignited every time our eyes met. One evening, we were locked in his office, poring over a complex contract. The tension in the room was palpable. A stray touch of his hand sent a jolt through me. Without a word, our lips met. It was as if a dam had burst. His kiss was demanding, yet gentle, a perfect blend of power and tenderness. His hands roamed my body, exploring every inch with a reverence that sent shivers down my spine. I lost myself in the moment, surrendering to the intensity of our connection. The physical intimacy deepened, a dance of bodies and souls. His touch was a symphony, each caress a note in a perfect melody. I felt desired, cherished, and completely consumed by him. In that moment, nothing else mattered. As our clothes began to fall away, I discovered a man who was as skilled in the bedroom as he was in the boardroom. His body was lean and muscular, his movements fluid and confident. Every touch, every caress, was a revelation. In that moment, I felt more alive, more desired than I ever had before. The following days were a whirlwind of emotions. I was exhilarated by the intensity of our connection, yet I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. The other women in the office seemed to have developed a collective dislike for me, their eyes filled with a mixture of envy and contempt. I tried to ignore it, but it was becoming increasingly difficult. The once friendly smiles turned into cold stares, the casual banter into barbed remarks. It started with subtle digs, veiled insults, and icy glares. Then came the confrontation. A woman named Riley, a marketing executive, cornered me in the restroom. Her eyes were cold, her voice laced with venom. "He's mine!" She hissed, her words like a slap to the face. I reported the incident to Jaden, but he brushed it off, a careless smirk playing on his lips. Rumors started circulating. Whispers about Jaden's conquests. A list of names that grew longer by the day. I refused to believe them, clinging to the illusion of our exclusive love. But the truth was a bitter pill to swallow. One night, I forgot my laptop at the office. It was late, around 9, when I arrived. The building was dark, the silence broken only by the hum of the air conditioning. Jaden's office was lit up. Hesitantly, I pushed the door open. What I saw next shattered my world. Jaden was on the couch entwined with another woman, a woman I recognized as one of his employees, Sarah. They were lost in a passionate embrace, their bodies moving in perfect rhythm. His hands explored her body with the same familiarity he'd shown me. The scene was a gut-wrenching betrayal. A cold wave of anger and disbelief washed over me. I stood there, paralyzed, watching as their intimacy deepened. It was as if someone had ripped my heart out and trampled on it. When it was over, I turned and walked away, leaving behind the shattered pieces of my heart. I had witnessed the ultimate betrayal, a stark reality that replaced the fairy tale I had created. The next morning, I arrived at work with a mask of indifference plastered on my face. I would not let them see my pain. I would become stronger, more cunning. I would fight for my position, for my love, with every fiber of my being. This was no longer about love. It was about survival. I became a ghost, a silent observer in the world I once inhabited with such confidence. The office, once a place of excitement and ambition, turned into a battleground. Every glance, every word, a potential weapon. I transformed myself into a cold, calculating machine, my emotions buried deep beneath layers of armor. Jaden, oblivious to the storm brewing around him, continued his charade. His casual touches, his suggestive remarks. They were all calculated now. A tool to keep me off balance, to maintain the illusion of our special relationship. I played along, a master of deception, my heart a frozen wasteland. The other women, emboldened by their victory, grew increasingly brazen. Their sabotage was subtle at first: misplaced documents, deleted files, and carefully placed rumors. But as my value to the company became apparent, their tactics intensified. One morning, I arrived at work to find my office in chaos. Files were scattered everywhere. My computer was open, and the screen displayed a classified government document. My heart pounded in my chest as panic washed over me. I had been framed. The police arrived within minutes, their presence casting a long shadow over the office. The accusations were clear and damning. I had allegedly leaked sensitive information to a foreign government, a crime punishable by severe penalties. Jaden, standing beside me, looked as shocked as anyone, his face a mask of feigned innocence. But I saw the flicker of amusement in his eyes, a silent confession of his involvement. As they handcuffed me, I glanced at the faces of my colleagues. There was a mixture of shock, pity, and a strange sense of satisfaction. Riley, in particular, wore a triumphant smirk.